Have you ever felt completely helpless? Like you've tried everything, knocked on every door, but nothing seems to work? You're not alone. In today's video, we're diving into a powerful story from the Gospel of Mark that speaks directly to those moments of desperation, showing us that even when we're at the end of our rope, there is hope. Picture this. A huge, arguing crowd has gathered at the foot of a mountain. Jesus' disciples are in the middle of it, looking flustered and defeated. Just then, Jesus and his inner circle, Peter, James, and John, descend from the mountain, fresh from the incredible experience of the Transfiguration. The mood shifts instantly. The arguing stops, and everyone rushes toward Jesus. A man breaks through the crowd, his face etched with years of worry and fear. He falls to his knees before Jesus and begins to share his heartbreaking story. "Teacher," he says, his voice cracking, "I brought you my son. He has a spirit that has robbed him of his speech." Imagine the weight of this father's words. For years, he has watched his son suffer. This wasn't just a physical ailment, it was a spiritual battle that raged inside his child. The spirit, he explains, would seize his son, throwing him to the ground. He would foam at the mouth, grind his teeth, and become rigid. It's a terrifying daily reality for this family. The father had hoped for a miracle. He had heard about Jesus' disciples and their power to heal, so he brought his son to them. But his hope was crushed. "I asked your disciples to drive it out," he tells Jesus, "but they could not." You can feel the disappointment, the desperation in his voice. He had reached out for help, only to be met with failure. How often have we felt that way? We turn to sources we think can help, friends, experts, even our own strength, and we come up empty. It's a lonely and discouraging place to be. Jesus looks at the scene, the defeated disciples, the skeptical crowd, the desperate father, and his response is intense. "You unbelieving generation," he says, "how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you?" Was he angry at the father? No. Jesus' words were a lament, a cry of frustration aimed at the pervasive lack of faith surrounding him. He saw the doubt that was crippling everyone, preventing them from experiencing God's power. Then his focus softens as he turns to the father and his boy. "Bring him to me." 4 simple words, but they are filled with authority and compassion. Bring him to me. This is Jesus' invitation, not just to this father, but to all of us. Bring your brokenness, your failures, your impossible situations. Bring them to him. The moment the boy is brought near Jesus, the evil spirit manifests its power in a violent, dramatic way. It throws the boy into a convulsion. He falls to the ground, rolling and foaming at the mouth. It's a raw, frightening display of the spiritual battle at hand. The spirit is essentially showing off, trying to intimidate everyone, as if to say, "See how powerful I am. Even in the presence of your master, I am in control." But Jesus is not intimidated. He is calm. He is in control. Instead of immediately rebuking the spirit, he does something interesting. He turns to the father and asks a question. How long has he been like this? This might seem like an odd question. Why does Jesus need this information? He's not asking for his own sake. He's asking for the Father's. He's inviting the Father to pour out his heart, to lay bare the full extent of his pain and his long-standing struggle. The Father replies, "From childhood." Think about that. This wasn't a recent problem. This was a lifetime of suffering, a lifetime of watching his son be tormented. He adds, "It has often thrown him into fire or water to kill him." This wasn't just about causing pain. The Spirit's intention was to destroy the boy completely. The father has been in a constant state of vigilance, saving his son's life over and over again, and then comes the most honest, raw, and relatable plea in the entire story. The father looks at Jesus, his last and only hope, and says, "But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." If you can. Can you hear the doubt mixed with his desperation? He's heard of Jesus, but he's also just seen Jesus' own disciples fail. His faith is wavering. He's clinging to a sliver of hope, but the years of disappointment have taken their toll. Jesus picks up on that one word, if. He gently challenges the Father. If you can, he says, everything is possible for one who believes. Jesus isn't scolding him. He's teaching him. He's shifting the Father's focus from the limits of the problem to the limitless power of faith. The question isn't about Jesus' ability, it's about the Father's belief. This is a turning point. The Father, struck by Jesus' words, has a moment of profound self-awareness. All his doubt, his fear, and his flickering hope collide. And with tears streaming down his face, he cries out one of the most powerful prayers in the Bible. I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. What an incredible statement. He acknowledges his faith, but he also acknowledges his weakness. He's not pretending to have it all together. He's honest. He's saying, Jesus, I have faith, but it's not perfect. It's small and it's fragile. Please help me where I fall short. This is a prayer we can all pray. It's a prayer that God loves to answer because it comes from a humble and honest heart. Seeing the crowd growing, Jesus decides it's time to act. He turns his attention to the boy and speaks with absolute divine authority. He doesn't bargain or plead. He commands, you deaf and mute spirit, he says, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. Notice how specific he is. He calls the spirit out for what it is and gives it two commands, come out and never enter him again. Jesus isn't just providing temporary relief, he is delivering complete and permanent freedom. The spirit's exit is as violent as its presence. It lets out a shriek and convulses the boy one last time. It doesn't go quietly, it's a final, desperate act of defiance, and then it's gone. The boy lies on the ground, completely still. So still, in fact, that many in the crowd start whispering, he's dead. The enemy's final act is a lie. An attempt to make it look like the cure was worse than the disease. But Jesus is the author of life, not death. He walks over to the boy, who everyone thinks is lifeless. He reaches down, takes him by the hand, and lifts him up. And the boy stands, healed, whole, free. The battle is over. The victory is won. The Father has his Son back. Later, when they are alone, the disciples pull Jesus aside. They are confused and humbled. They had been given authority to drive out demons before, but this time they failed. Why couldn't we drive it out? They ask. Jesus' answer is simple yet profound. This kind can come out only by prayer. Some ancient manuscripts also add, and fasting. What was Jesus saying? He was telling them that their previous successes might have led them to rely on a formula or on their own delegated authority, rather than on a moment-by-moment, dependent relationship with God. This kind of deep-seated, powerful evil required a deeper level of spiritual connection and dependence on the Father. It required more than just the right words. It required a heart fully connected to the source of all power. This story is so much more than just an ancient miracle account. It's a roadmap for our own lives. It shows us that it's okay to come to God with our doubts and our if you can ease. It teaches us that an honest prayer like I believe, help my unbelief is incredibly powerful. And it reminds us that there are some battles in our lives, some kinds of struggles that cannot be overcome by our own strength or methods. They can only be won through a deep, dependent connection to God, through prayer. What is the this kind in your life? Is it a persistent habit, a relational stronghold, a mountain of anxiety or despair? This story is your invitation. Bring it to Jesus. Be honest about your struggles and your doubts, and commit to a deeper life of prayer, knowing that with God, everything is possible for the one who believes. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. For more resources to help you grow in your faith, be sure to check out the link in bio. Until next time, be blessed.